What's going on? We're going to go through UFC 308. I'm super excited. I have probably said this at least 5 times in my life, but I don't think I've ever been this excited for a UFC card, at least in a while. So, we're going to start. We're not doing all the prelims, but a majority of them. We're going to start with Bruno Ferreira, Abus Magomedov. And I think Bruno Ferreira is going to get the win by knockout. A lot of people are choosing Magomedov, which I definitely understand why. I just think Bruno has too much power. I think his power is underrated, and I think his chin's underrated, and he continues to show why he just is as good as he is. You know, he just marched forward, and he's like just, I don't know, I think he's just slept on. So I'm going to go with Bruno Ferreira, knockout or TKO. We have Said Nurmagomedov versus Daniel Santos. Nurmagomedov, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to say decision. I'm going to say, he's going to win pretty noticeably. It's not going to be very close, but I think he's definitely going to take the win there. Then we have Aralbai versus Rebecki. At first, I was going to go with Aralbai, just because, they're both extremely good, and all of these fights, really, they're extremely good. But Aralbai, I was going to say, I could see decision win by just constant pressure, getting takedowns, and, just getting the decision win. But then I changed my mind. I'm going to go with Rebecki. I think he's probably better than I thought originally. I went back through and I was watching highlights, and I just think he's kind of, I think he's underrated, So I'm going to go with him. And I'm going to say, I would say knockout, but I'm going to say decision. I think he's going to land some big shots. He might get some takedowns of his own, at least be able to stuff a lot of Aralbai's takedowns. And, I just think he's going to win by decision. He's going to land some big shots there. Then we have RDA versus Jeff Neal. And I could see this fight going either way, but I'm going to say RDA is... Actually, no, I'm going to say Jeff Neal. Yeah, I'm going to say Jeff Neal. I think he's just going to find bigger shots. I think he's also going to win by decision. I can't see RDA getting knocked out. But I do think Jeff Neal is going to, get in the pocket, find some big shots, and he's going to end up winning by decision. So then we have Sharputin Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Two really good strikers and two people who are not very good on the ground. Different styles of strikers. Watching their highlights back, you have Petrosyan. He keeps his hands down pretty often. They're both big kickers. You see more leg kicks from Petrosyan, and I just think that Sharputin his striking is cleaner. It's more. He's relying less on just finding the power shots. I'm going to go with, in this, I could see going either way, but I'm going to go with Sharputin Magomedov, and I just think he's cleaner. I think, he's just going to find, the cleaner 1-2s, better kicks, and slowly but surely over the 3 rounds just start to kind of pick him apart. Then this fight I'm super excited for. I am, but I was actually talking about the next fight. Magomed Ankalaev, Alexander Rakic. I'm going to go with Ankalaev. I just think, he's one of my favorite strikers to watch. I think he, I don't know, there's something about, the hooks that he throws are just, it's a thing of beauty, to be honest with you. It's really nice, but he's just good everywhere. And I think what I like about him is I like fighters who, I don't know, there's something nice about getting in the pocket, right? And I think everyone could say that, but it's just he does that very well. And what I mean by that, too, is not just getting in the pocket, but the ability to have combinations and trade in the pocket and finish off on combinations. Rakic is obviously, he's a stud, he's big, he's powerful, he's good everywhere, basically, but I just think, I'm going to sit, I do remember, I always think about, Rakic, his fight against Jerry Prohaska, and I don't know, I can see it kind of going down that way. I can think, I think maybe his chin's going to be a little too strong, if that makes sense, and he's going to be kind of skating on wobbly legs, and he's going to continue to come forward, and I think he's going to be wobbled, hit with some hard shots by Ankalaev, and Ankalaev's just going to either KO him just clean, or he's going to get the TKO. So I'm going to go with Ankalaev there. This is the fight I was talking about. Lerone Murphy versus Dan Ige. I love watching Dan Ige. You know, they're completely different styles, and I think it's going to be a close fight no matter what. I think Dan Ige is going to win by decision. I went back and forth on this fight, you know, because Lerone Murphy is he's very good. But I just think by watching a few of Dan Ige's fights back and watching some of Murphy's fights back, I think Dan Ige, his striking defense, and of course his takedown defense, but that's another thing I'm going to get to. His where I would be worried about Dan Ige is the striking, you know, because Murphy's striking is so good. But I think his defense is fine. It's really good, actually. And also, you see him take down Dan Ige. You see him take down Diego Lopez in their last fight. And if you watch some of Murphy's fights back, I forget his opponent, but, you know, he had that pretty good knockout by landing the knee. And I just think that whole first fight, or the first round, he was getting dominated basically the whole time. So I'm going to go with Dan Ige. I think he's going to land, it'll be competitive, but I think his striking defense will hold up. I think he's going to land some good takedowns and some decent ground and pound. And he's going to get the decision win. Maybe a TKO, but I'm going to say decision win. All right, now we have co-main event. Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev. Super excited for this fight. I love Robert Whittaker, but I'm going to say Khamzat Chimaev. I know a lot of people are going with Whittaker. Also Chimaev, but I'm going to go with Chimaev. I just think, and this is, of course, my personal opinion, and I do agree with the whole theory that Khamzat is going to have to get him out quick within the first maybe 3 rounds, or he's going to start to fade, and Whittaker is going to kind of take over. And I do understand, you know, people, you know, the idea that Whittaker is like the hunter, how explosive he is, and that Khamzat hasn't really faced anyone who's a natural striker in a natural middleweight as well. I just think, I don't know, I just think it comes back to that. Yeah, I think Khamzat is going to be too much, too early. And this is a wild pick. I definitely understand that. I'm not betting on these. Probably a good thing I don't. But, yeah, I think Khamzat's going to get him, you know, going to get the stoppage within the first 3 rounds. I would say before the 4th round. I just think he's that much. And I think with some of the Gilbert Burns fight and the Kamaru Usman fight, people will say, you know, he's not going to do great against a natural middleweight because of how good Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns did against him. And where I understand where they're coming from, I just think that takes away a little from how good Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns really are. Because that would be like saying that Robert Whittaker and Kamaru Usman, or Robert Whittaker and Gilbert Burns each separately, wouldn't also be a good fight. And I think that's going to be a great fight. So I'm going to go with Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm going to say by submission in the 2nd round. Sounds crazy, I know, but we'll see how it goes. All right, then the main event, Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway. Fans of them both. Ilia Topuria, I will say, is probably my favorite fighter in the UFC right now. I like Umar Nurmagomedov a lot too. I would say they're tied, but I mean, something about Ilia Topuria. You know, we're both 5'7", and so he gives me a lot of motivation there, being a shorter fighter, even at 145. And man, I just love the striking. I love the constant forward pressure. I love getting in the pocket, the body shots, the combinations, the defense. And again, everyone knows how good he is on the ground when he doesn't really have to use that. But if I had to make it short and sweet, I do think he could win on the ground, but I don't think he's going to. I think he is going to try to make a statement, as he's been saying. I think, and here's another thing, too, I think people are kind of forgetting about. I think Volk has a 72-inch reach. Josh Emmett has a 70-inch reach. And I think Holloway has a 69-inch reach. So Holloway, even though he's taller, he has the shortest reach out of Emmett, Volk, and him. And people say, oh, he's going to stay outside and pick him apart. I think Topuria might be hit with a few jabs, just like he did Volk. But I think he's going to keep moving forward, back him up against the cage, and he's going to continue to find the shots. And I think it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to see Holloway going down. So I can't say TKO as much as I kind of think I should. But I'm going to say Ilia Topuria by unanimous decision, and I think it's going to be, sounds crazy, I think it's going to be pretty one way. I don't think it's going to be a split decision. All right, so let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below. And we'll see, like Max Holloway said, we'll see on the 26th. All right, thanks for checking the video out. I appreciate it.